Celtic have lost there earlier this season. It's certainly not a given.
Danny Armstrong as well, good tricky player. Barry, what do you think of this one tomorrow? It's Sunday.
Well, it's going to be raining. I just checked the weather
You checked it, well
forecast.
done.
So I'm sure Celtic will be happy with that. The worst thing playing in artificial surfaces when it's dry. It's not the ideal situation. But listen, Derek's got a certain way of playing. They're a real physical presence. You heard Brendan Rodgers say that. I think the two up front, I think they played up front against Aberdeen. Andy was at the game. Watkins and Vassell. Big, strong, physical presence. And you think if Carter Vickers is not going to be there, Celtic could struggle at the back. But listen, Derek's got a good team. He's got, as I said, he's made a lot of good signings in the summer. And that'll be a tough one for Celtic.
Although Celtic, as you know, 7 away wins, 6 home wins so far this season. Here's a bit more from the manager about expectations of the Celtic players.
Yeah, it's the expectation. It's the difference at the very top clubs. The pressure is relentless. The expectation is there, and you have to prepare yourself. And that's why you always have to have special mention to those guys that can sustain it over long periods of time, like Callum. His hunger, has to be celebrated because of the length of time he's been here and how long he's been doing it and how hungry he is every single season, and then his availability for games. So he devotes himself to his profession, and not everyone can be like that because it's hard, it's tough every single day. So, but yeah, that's what playing for a big club is about.
That's a good depiction there of the captain, Callum McGregor. Isn't it remarkable? Just the way he always turns up.
Yeah, tremendous professional, and a real tribute to his dedication there. The way he goes about his work, the way he lives his life. He just wants to play every game, and the fact that he's so fit, it's rare. That I think the last injury he had was a facial injury. Had that mask on for a while, and Celtic miss him when he plays. And I know that he's been playing slightly forward recently. He's got a couple of goals, so there's a different style to Callum McGregor, but he's the real leader in the middle of the park. And when Cameron Carter-Vickers is on fire, I doubt he'll play at the weekend, but he's also a leader that you have in the heart of your defence, and you need that all over the pitch.
Barry, I know you admire the consistency and the talent of Callum McGregor.
Yeah, he churns out some amount of games. Honestly, he does. Not just with Celtic, with Scotland as well, and he's a driving force. There's no doubt about that. I watched the game last week against St Johnstone. Celtic were terrible in the first half, and even McCallum standards, he gave a couple of balls away. But in the second half, he's the one that kicked the comeback off. We getting that goal. He was driving his team forward. And listen, when you take Callum McGregor out the Celtic team, they're certainly 100% a weaker team.
Certainly he is missed, isn't he? There's no question. What are you thinking about Iwata, who was in the other evening? David Turnbull started on the bench.
Yeah, well, Turnbull is one of those players who's shown up well. He scored a few goals. He's got a good delivery from a set piece, but he's getting into the last year of his contract. I've no idea where they stand in terms of a negotiation. But if he goes, then you obviously need to see what else is available. And Iwata he's like everyone. He needs a chance, and he needs to show what he's capable of. He needs to show the manager. He needs to show the supporters that he's got the ability to stay in the team every week.
What do you think of Iwata? You probably haven't seen enough of him.
Not seen enough of him, but if I look at the Celtic team, that's an area where I think they need strengthened. I know obviously in the forward areas with the 3 players going away in international duty, but I think they rely far too much on Callum McGregor. I think they need a real physical presence in there, and I think that's an area of the pitch where they may look to strengthen come January.
Yeah, you've spoken about Callum McGregor and how important he is. Obviously his role as a captain, but O'Reilly has arguably been the player of the season so far. He's getting goals from the middle of the park more consistently. Just his general play, he looks to be taking his game to another level.
If CCV doesn't play, Andy, what's your back 4 tomorrow or Sunday?
Maybe someone like Phillips, who has come on in the European games. He's shown a bit of action there. He's played at a he's played at a good level. But Alistair Johnson, you won't fit. Greg Taylor at left back. Scales has been very consistent. So if
He's nailed on now, isn't he? He's
I think so, and he
yeah.
gives you, he just gives you that great balance. You need I mean, he's a strong defender, but also his use of the ball. He just gives you that natural balance on the left hand side. So him alongside Phillips, I don't think you would have any qualms about seeing those two play together.
Not sure if Navrowski's back and fully fit. He has been training.
Yeah,
They spent
it's
a
an
lot of
area,
money.
exactly. It's an area that Celtic strengthened to the extent where they spent a lot of money in that position. But lo and behold, it is someone like Liam Scales who was given an opportunity because of injury. And it looks as though he has taken his chance because he's got the manager speaking highly of him. And he looks the perfect player to be playing in that left centre-back position.
It's crazy how football works. He was out the door, no doubt about it.
I thought he was going to go back to Aberdeen
Yep.
on loan.
And you just see he comes in and I thought he did okay at the start when he came in, but then you could see each game he was getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And now, if you ask me, I don't know what Andy thinks. If you're saying what's the two centre backs or what's the best centre back pairing at Celtic, it's for me Carter Vickers and Scales.
For sure. A few Celtic fans were saying Nat Phillips didn't have a great game the other night. In fact, Peter Grant, who was on yesterday, said at times he thought he could be more positive, play the ball forward, seek out a pass rather than a square ball. Gregory's been on, who was at the game. He was disappointed by Nat Phillips. I don't know, is it lack of match practice or...
Yeah, he's come up here on loan and he's not had as much game time as he probably would have wanted. He's picked up an injury, but I think he's someone you can rely on to go. I mean, I don't think he's going to be at Celtic Park for a long time, but I think he's certainly someone you can rely on to go to Rugby Park against Kilmarnock and compete and give you a performance. He's played at a right good level with Liverpool when he turned out there.
Gregory said it reminded him of Shane Duffy, who came from Brighton. Great reputation. It just didn't work out for him, did it? Was that during COVID days?
Yeah.
When he came.
And then he went back down south and looked a player again. So I don't know what it was, but I agree. He just didn't look the player that we all thought he was during his time up here.
As you both know, when you wear that jersey, Celtic
it
or
can
Rangers,
it can be a really heavy jersey, especially when your team is not having results, and that's when you need to be strong, you need to be brave, you need to go on the ball, and you need to show people that you can get through a bad spell and turn it around.
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up.